Brought to you by Penguin.
Menagerie Manor by Gerald Durrell, read by Julian Wadham, Anne Dover and Roy McMillan.
Forward by Lee Durrell. Menagerie Manor was the second of Gerald Durrell's books I read, just after My Family and Other Animals. This was some time ago, during my student days in Madagascar. I was just completing the research for my PhD in animal communication and welcomed a break from writing up the day's field notes. I hadn't yet met Jerry, but on discovering his books in a mission library in a remote area in southern Madagascar, I became not only a fan, but also a convert to his own mission to save species from extinction. Imagine my excitement when I actually met my hero some years later. Then, to marry him. On rereading this book, published 43 years ago, I was struck by a number of things. First, it is a quintessentially Durrell book, with all the charm and style Jerry had become famous for in the dozen books he had already written. Poetic and graceful, amusingly sardonic on occasion, but always affectionate, Menagerie Manor is an effortless read. I believe it will still captivate people of all ages and open their eyes to the wonders of the animal kingdom, which is the first step in securing a commitment to wildlife conservation. Another thing that struck me, because it was so ahead of its time, was Jerry's very clear statement about the threats to the animal kingdom and the role zoos could play in mitigating them. Remember, it was written when most conservationists scoffed at the idea that zoos could contribute to the survival of species, and most zoos were no more than mere stamp collections of animals, selling entertainment to human beings. Now, it is well recognized that zoos have a vital part to play in species conservation, not only by breeding endangered species, but also in the fields of research and professional training in conservation biology. The opportunity they have to educate the public and raise awareness of conservation issues is unmatched. Bona fide zoos worldwide receive more than 600 million visitors a year. Jerry was not only prophetic about zoos in general, but he laid out the special path he envisioned for his own institution, which we're still following wholeheartedly today. He spoke of the plight of small and obscure creatures, which may be every bit as conservation needy as the charismatic megavertebrates, such as lions and rhinos, typical of most zoos. He singled out island fauna as exceptionally worthy of attention, given the fragility of island ecosystems and the susceptibility of populations of animals and plants on islands to extinction. He declared that the main function of his own zoo was to be the restoration of natural populations of animals by breeding the species concerned and returning the offspring to their ancestral homes in the wild. This is much easier said than done, and Jerry and his team pioneered many of the various techniques used today in species restoration. We do all this and more here in Jersey at the original Menagerie Manor and around the world, as Will Macefield, one of the stars on our animal staff, elegantly explains at the end of the book. Gerald Durrell was a prophet, a visionary, and a pioneer, as well as a remarkable and well-loved writer, all of which made him an icon of wildlife conservation in the 20th century. But I think his most valuable role was as a mentor, because he guided and inspired so many people, like Will and myself, to follow a career in conservation and pursue the mission to save species from extinction. Jerry is still a mentor, because his books continue to rally people to the cause. Collectively, we have been dubbed Durrell's Army, and we need more recruits. I hope this book...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?